Right, welcome to Canadian Spa. Today we're talking about winterizing your hot tub. So if you go away for the winter, you shut your spa down over the winter time, there's a few steps you want to take to help protect your spa. The whole idea is we want to try and get out as much water as we possibly can. So after you've drained your spa, you're going to come down and you're going to open up the cabinet. Find all your pumps depending on what unit you have. If you have 1 pump, 2 pumps, 3 pumps, or 4 pumps if you have a swim spa. Now on your pumps, you're going to end up loosening the unions on the pumps. So a nice tool to go get yourself is a C-clamp oil wrench. And they just sit on here and they help not to try and damage and make your life easier. Now when you're undoing the unions, you always want to start on the suction side of the pump. This way, water is not going to spill over and down into the AC part of your motor. So when you loosen these off, just needs a little turn. Undo your union, and you're going to let it out and let some water out. You'll see that little bit of drain. This is also where your wet vac comes in handy to suck up any water that happens to go inside the cabinet. And a good idea is to take your O-rings, either put them inside or you can always zip tie them so they're close. So you don't want to lose these. And you're going to have another one that's in the discharge size of your pump. And there's your other gasket right there. So now that we have the unions off, you can see on this front side of the pump here, you have little drains. This one at the very, very bottom down here, this is the lowest part. So you're going to want to take your lineman's wrench. Just give it a little bit of a turn just to loosen it. They're only plastic, so you don't want to put a big turn on them. And you can see how the water has stopped coming out of the pump, but as soon as I undo this little plug, the rest of that little water that we never saw in there is going to start pouring out. And that's all the little plug is. This is good to leave out as well over top of the winter time, because if you happen to get some water in it or a cover blows off and it starts getting snow or water inside of it, this will help not fill up the inside of it. This will always leak out of the pumps. With the AOP3, which is your ozone system and your UV light, I've already taken out the light bulb. It sits inside of the tube here, and it's just a simple connector here. So you just undo your connector, pull your bulb out. You should put this into a small little cardboard box and take this inside over the winter time just to help protect your bulb. The other thing you're going to want to do is there's this quart sleeve inside of here that separates the bulb from the water. This unit, since it's a very low point, you can get water trapped in here. So if you take your wrench, you give the cap just a little bit of a turn. It can be very tight to get into here, so you just take your time. Once it gets loose enough, just unthreads. You'll have the cap, a little O-ring for the cap, and then you're going to have the quart sleeve. Now you want to be careful with this, same thing, it's just glass. So this is going to go inside with your bulb, and you can actually put your bulb into it so they stay together. So you have your jets. You want to turn the jet to the off position, put a little pressure, and give a turn. Now some of your jets will be thread-in jets, so you'll just unthread them. Some, like this model, are a pop-in jet. So you'll feel it click and pop out a little bit, which will mean now you can remove these. Now we're going to want to go around and remove all your jets. This is a good time to see if you've any chemical buildup or anything around the jets. You can let them soak Now, when you take your wet vac, you're going to take the wet vac and place it over all the jets, and you're going to blow down. We're trying to push the water level down to those open pumps, and you're just going to start right at the top, go right around all the top ones, and just keep cycling down. Once you get that, you're also going to see that footwell fill up a little bit. So the last things you're going to do before you start going around to the inside is you have your filter housings, filters removed out of the hot tub, but we're also going to do the dials as well. So you'll put the suction down of the hose, and it's going to go over top, and you're just going to blow the air down. One of the big ones is going to be your waterfall. So the cap just lifts off. They can be a little tight, so it takes a little bit of finger pressure to get them off. And then you have a thread-on cap on it. That undoes, this just lifts out, and this is the actual valve that opens and closes for pressure on it. So with these out, we want to blow air down here to try and push that water down as well. And same thing, you're going to see a lot of stuff coming out your intakes in the pumps. And you'll also see them inside on the pump coming out that end. Done blowing everything down and you've got everything looking like there's no water left in it, you can put your dials back in. And everything, when you're putting them on, they're really just hand tight and a little quarter extra turn. We don't want to over crank anything. And then the cap, you can see, just has a little square, just meets up and pushes down and allows it to turn. Now you will have some other dials around your hot tub, depending a diverter or so, depending on your models. So it's a good idea, if you've got questions, call in. We can suggest to you which dials you want to be looking at. Now that we have all the water pushed down and you've got water in the cabinet, once again, use your wet dry vac to suck up any water that's left inside of here, because we don't want anything, any possible reasons for any freezing. You're going to leave the unions off your pump, and you're going to leave that little plug out. That way, like I said, if the cover ever blew off or somehow some water gets in there, that it's not going to fill up inside of here. There's ice in here will mess with your impeller. So that's a good little tip for you to do. Make sure that these stay with your O-rings. That way you won't lose them.